So the split screen was terrible. You had Trump triumphantly just demonstrating tremendous self-possession and courage on the stage, and then you had Biden struggling to go up the short steps to Air Force One. It could not have been starker. So my phone is blowing up that day. I remember vividly, July 13th, Butler, Pennsylvania, and a few hours from where I live, actually. And donors were just saying, it's done. We might as well just pack up and go home now. How do you beat a guy like that?
President Donald Trump is now looking for answers connected to the multiple assassination attempts on his life. The Secret Service sends a stern message as a would-be assailant gets shot down as he gets close to the White House. And the Biden family is in deep financial trouble as Hunter Biden admits to being homeless. Now, if you guys appreciate the updates, please hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. I have a lot of updates and important stories to go through today with you, so I'm not going to waste any time. So let's go ahead and jump straight into what the president is saying right now about the attempts that have been made on his life. Watch.
And the boss wants an update on both assassination attempts on his life as Florida suspect Ryan Ruth, the 59-year-old convicted felon, remember, arrested near Trump's Palm Beach golf course while armed, is due in a Florida courtroom this morning around 11 a.m. And President Trump says he's open to making some of this information public.
I want to find the answers. I've told them. When you have 3 apps and 2 of them are foreign, and you had an FBI that wouldn't report on it, they didn't want to say why, I would say that could be suspicious. The second one, he had 6 cell phones. That's a lot of cell phones. I want to find out, and I would be willing to release it. I mean, maybe there's a reason that we shouldn't, so I don't want to get too far ahead of my skis, but yeah, I would be very willing to release that.
Although it's unclear whether the report or information he might release will cover one or both plots, but recall Pennsylvania shooter Thomas Matthew Crooks is dead, but multiple law enforcement sources tell Fox a motive still has yet to be determined. And unlike 2 months ago, President Trump now has his own team at the DOJ, FBI, and Secret Service in place, so the flow of information is expected to be certainly more forthcoming. Now, today's hearing is in Fort Pierce, Florida. It's a status hearing ahead of Ruth's September trial with federal judge Eileen Cannon, who oversaw Trump's classified documents case and who Ruth has already tried unsuccessfully to have removed. Now, today we expect there will be a bit of a tug of war between prosecutors and the defense over scheduling and evidentiary discovery materials. We'll see what happens.
Are these assassination attempts on Trump being covered up, or is this just the beginning of something even bigger? Type expose the truth if you think that the public deserves to know everything, guys, or more to come if you believe that this is just the start of an even bigger plot. Now, there's a couple of questions that we need to answer here. So first, why didn't the Biden-Harris administration provide us with anything besides vague information regarding these shooters, huh? Like, this happened during last year's presidential campaign. Now, you would think that the FBI and the Secret Service would have something concrete within a few months, right? Now, looking back, I remember that just a few days after the shooting, the FBI posed an update, and they said that they were able to gain access to Thomas Matthew Crooks' cell phone. Y'all remember that? They were also able to search his home and his car. But then all of a sudden things became quiet, as if they found something that they should not have found. And the same scenario happened with Ryan Wesley Ruth. After his connection to Ukraine was revealed, updates about him were suddenly scarce. Now again, with the FBI seemingly slow to act or disseminate information. So Ruth's federal trial is slated for September, although his defense lawyers did something really weird. Just a few weeks ago, his lawyers decided to visit the private golf course of President Trump in West Palm Beach. Prosecutors as well as the FBI called the request as highly unusual. The defense also requested that the alleged assassination rifle and ammunition from the FBI's Quantico lab be moved to South Florida. Now, according to the defense, this was for them to inspect the firearm as well. And while we haven't gotten any answers to these assassination attempts, another one may have just been foiled by the Secret Service. Watch.
Tonight, troubling questions after a shooting overnight near the White House.
Respond for the shooting, 17th East Street, Northwest.
Just after midnight, Secret Service saying their agents shot a man after an armed confrontation with law enforcement, after they were notified yesterday of a suicidal individual traveling to D.C. According to 2 senior law enforcement officials, the suspect is 27-year-old Andrew Dawson, driving this white Chrysler sedan from Indiana.
Units approached from the 18th Street side.
That's when, just 1 block from here, authorities found the man's parked vehicle and then spotted somebody who matched the man's description here, and that's when shots ensued. The close proximity of the gunshots to the White House heightening new concerns about security around the president, who spent the weekend in Palm Beach. President Trump survived an assassination attempt last year at a Pennsylvania campaign rally, and then while golfing on his West Palm Beach course 2 months later. Sean Curran, who was the Secret Service special agent in charge of his detail during the Butler attack, is now the agency's director. The security of the president and Vice President Vance of Pinnacle Concern.
As of now, they're not sure of the individual's condition at the hospital, but you got to admit that him having a gun and a knife 1 block away from the West Wing is highly suspicious. Some authorities believe that Andrew Dawson wanted to be shot at and may have chosen this spot as it was the closest that he can get to the White House. It's no secret that the White House is heavily guarded, especially with the multiple attempts on our president's life. So if he was indeed out to hurt himself, he understood that this would be a prime spot. Now, I'm hoping that the FBI under Director Kash Patel gives us more answers than questions regarding these different events. Hey, by the way, guys, if you're one of the real ones who really enjoy what we do here on the channel, you've got to check out the Inner Circle. This is where our true supporters get exclusive access to content that I just can't share here, completely commercial free. It's also the best way to keep this channel going strong. So if you want to be a part of something special, join us over there. Links in the description or in the pinned comment down below. Now, moving on, guys, former President Joe Biden's son, Hunter Biden, seems to be in trouble. His life is said to be in shambles, with him claiming that he is now homeless. Here's a short take from Fox's Jesse Waters.
Hunter Biden's officially broke. He just asked a judge to toss a laptop lawsuit because he's millions in debt and can't afford his lawyers. Hunter says it's hard for him to make a living. That's strange. An Ivy League educated lawyer and energy expert with international business experience can't find a steady job in the new golden age. Even though he's the smartest guy Joe Biden knows, Hunter sold 27 pieces of art totaling over $1 million before 2023, but then his dad dropped out and he only sold 1. Nobody's buying the paintings now that daddy's back in Delaware. Funny how the Bidens cry poor as soon as they're out of government. That should tell you everything about where the money's coming from.
Hunter has decided to drop his case against Marco Polo's Garrett Ziegler because of mounting legal fees. Now, you guys might remember that Ziegler shared Hunter's infamous laptop files out onto the internet, which painted his entire family as the Biden crime family. Now, it also shows the wild side of Hunter, as we saw photos and videos of him allegedly handling or doing drugs. Garrett Ziegler, on his end, sent a message to Hunter as he was on Benny Johnson's podcast recently. So here's what he had to say to the former first son.
But he's wanting to dismiss it without prejudice, which in non-legalese means whenever he gets a new sugar brother or a new patron, he can just bring the case again. Of course, any sane defendant would not agree to such conditions because we would be prejudiced by that. We don't want to have to deal with this. I want to move on with my life and maybe go help the government. So this is in the judge's hands now. We filed a response to his, what's called an ex parte application, which means we only had 24 hours to respond. Ex parte, again, a non-legalese, is just emergency. He filed this emergency motion on Wednesday. We had until 3 p.m. yesterday to respond to it. And we have like 4 arguments, which is there's no emergency going on. The real reason is that he doesn't want to sit for a deposition and be deposed by me or Kevin Morris, his sugar brother. And number 3, if this goes forward, we are going to be able to get discovery that he thought he would just be able to run out the clock. So we have a fact discovery. I know I'm getting in the weeds, but the case isn't technically dismissed yet because we told the judge, if you are going to grant Hunter's motion, we want our legal fees reimbursed, which for this case alone is $197,000. Wow. And now his sugar brother sued me in the nonprofit in state court. That one's $200,000. So I make this offer to Hunter publicly. If he wants to get rid of this, we will agree to a dismissal with prejudice, meaning he can't bring the case again, and that he reimburses our legal fees, which right now are about $397,000.
This is not the best look for Hunter or his family, especially since he was also pardoned by his father for crimes he allegedly committed. Him wanting to go after these guys for exposing him shows that he's out for revenge. But if what he says is true, then he's not going to be able to afford exacting revenge anytime soon. It's funny how he's suddenly light on cash after his dad left the White House. Now I have even more bad news for Democrats. Some devoted liberals are now turning their backs to the party. This was after their despicable and disrespectful actions at President Trump's first joint Congress. Now, I covered this in a previous live stream that I urge you guys to check out. As always, thanks for hitting the like button and subscribing to the channel. We'll see you next time.